Hello friends, Ariel here from Grace Roots Gardening, and today we are going to be talking about how to grow onions from seeds. You will find in time that this is the most cost-effective way to grow your own onions. They're really easy to grow. It's a great thing you can grow to stop being so dependent on the grocery store. And when you start them from seeds versus from sets, you're going to find you get bigger bulbs, and it's also, like I said, it's more cost effective. You can typically get a pack of onion seeds with 250 seeds in it for under $5. 250 onions for under $5 is a pretty good price. So we'll go over how you're gonna start these. As far as materials, you're gonna need seeds, of course. And then I start all of my onions in recycled berry containers. These work perfect because they've got built-in drainage holes at the bottom, and then at the top, it's like a humidity dome. And once your onion seeds sprout, you can just cut the top off and you're good to go. And then you're gonna need labels if you're doing different kinds of onions. I haven't had great luck with marking directly on the containers and having that not get washed off or wiped off. So do labels. And then you will need some seed starting medium. I use cocoa coir and I mix it with perlite and vermiculite. 4 parts cocoa coir, 1 part perlite, 1 part vermiculite. And that's how I start all my onion seeds. That's how I start all my seeds, really, is in this mixture. So let's get started. We are just going to fill up our berry containers with the seed starting medium. You can use, I like the blueberry size ones or even the little like raspberry ones. I just save these whenever I buy them when they're out of season here in Missouri. And you're gonna kind of wanna press that in there. And I will typically leave about an inch space at the top. But you do wanna press it down in so that way your seeds don't get disrupted as you're starting them. So it's ready to go. One key whenever you are seed starting is to make sure that you pre-moisten your seed starting medium. Also do that with pretty hot water too, to make sure that any little bug eggs and such in there is all taken care of. And there's something that you do want to seed start from pretty early. For me, my last frost date is April 23rd, and I'm gonna be starting these onions here in the middle of January, and I'm in Central Missouri Zone 6A. You wanna put these out in early spring. So I will get these onions planted probably in mid-March. Knowing Missouri weather, it'll probably be mid-March when I can start really working in the garden, but they need to go through some cold. Make sure that you get these planted when it's still a little bit cool out. You can't plant them if you don't start them. All right, so once you have your containers filled up, you are ready to go in with your seeds. I will just set my containers out, and then I'll get a little bowl and just go ahead and put all your seeds in the bowl. I'm gonna come a little closer to the camera here. So when I'm seeding onions, I literally just kind of sprinkle them all over the top like that. Just sprinkle all over. And I'll kind of try to make sure they're spread out. Onions don't need a ton of space at this age. I'm really just kind of getting them started. And then when I go to transplant these outside, you'll tease them apart very gently. And then you'll plant the best size ones out in your garden. But you're really just kind of sprinkling them all over so they're decently spread out. And this is 250 onions that I'm starting in 2 berry containers. You can really start a high volume of onions in not a big space, which is you're getting ready to get your spring stuff going on those grow shelves. You're gonna run out of real estate really quick. So you want to be as efficient as you can. This is an awesome way to start a lot of seeds in a really little space. So just sprinkling these all over. And you can do the same thing too if you want to start some bunching onions. These are bulbing onions. These are a sweet candy onion. I really like to cook with sweet onions, I don't know. But you can do the same thing with bunching onions or any onion variety, just as long as you pick the right day length for where you're gardening. We're almost done. now I'm just going to very gently sprinkle a little bit more of my seed starting medium on top of the seeds. Not a lot, just a little, just to kind of top them off and tap them down in there too. Just a little tap, tap, tap. When I am labeling, I always use the Sharpie Extremes. They just seem to hold up the best. I've tried all the garden markers, garden labels, and when I label them, I will always write what kind it is. So these are candy, and then I'll put the date that I started them, more just to see, you know, if I'm expecting these to germinate in 7 to 14 days. Sometimes I forget when I started stuff, and it just helps me to remember. So I just kind of add the label down in the back. Once you see your onions have germinated, I'll cut the top off, and then the label can be a little more normal. But for now, we're just gonna tuck her down there in the back. Now that the seeds are all planted, I'm gonna come downstairs and set them up on my heat mat. I have that on the same timer as my light, so it's on for 12, off for 12. And I'm gonna add a bottom tray and a couple of my onion containers. I will mist these every day until I start to see the seeds take off. They're gonna look like a bunch of little hairs, little green hairs like a little lawn, and they're gonna smell like onions. And you just wanna make sure you keep them moist in this time so that the seeds can germinate. You don't wanna let the soil dry out. Don't fertilize yet. Just wait until you see sprouts. So yeah, that is how you start your onions from seed indoors. Let me know how it goes for you. If you have questions or comments, be sure to drop them below and follow for more.